Hey folks, welcome to the channel. I'm Don, this is Rockin' the Country. I'm doing a donation request today. Farm Daddy, thank you for the donation and for the request. And I'm doing the one and only Jim Reeves. And I love the expanse of time and the careers in which these artists did their work. Jim Reeves much earlier, some of the more contemporary artists like Sarah Beth Terry, and so on, like old, new, and yet that traditional country heartfelt feel with beautiful lyrics. But Jim Reeves has got a voice like no other. And there are amazing voices, as we know. Don Williams and Gene Watson. I mean, folks just have these gorgeous voices. But Jim Reeves is right up there with the best of them. So, The Blue Side of Lonesome. I don't know this song. We know where it's going. But the blue side of lonesome, like that's just like quadruple the loneliness. All right, here we go.
I'm calling to tell you it's over.
Oh, he's doing
Yes, darling, you're now free to go. You're saying you're sorry you hurt me, but you've hurt me much more than you know.
Oh boy.
You're asking me where this call comes from. Oh, I hope that you won't end up here. If your new romance turns out a failure,
Jesus.
here's where to find me, my dear.
This is way close to home, except I didn't open the door back up again, but holy crap. This is way too vivid because of the way he's singing it. I mean, his diction is perfect. It's very slowly moving along. You cannot mistake his lyrics.
I'm just on the blue side of lonesome,
What's the next level?
right next to the Heartbreak Hotel, in a tavern that's known as Three Teardrops, on a bar stool, not doing so well.
Yeah.
The floor has a carpet of sorrow,
Jesus.
but no one can weep in the aisle. And they say someone broke the bar mirror,
Uh-oh.
with only the ghost of a smile. The hands on the clock never alter.
That is oh my God. Time goes so slow, it doesn't feel like it's going at all. What a great way of putting it.
Things never change in this place. There's no present, no past, no future.
Yeah. Well, there's the past.
We're the ones who have lost in love's race. I'm just on the blue side of lonesome, right next to the Heartbreak Hotel, in a tavern that's known as Three Teardrops, on a bar stool, not doing so well.
Oh my God. If that didn't depict getting dumped, but then at some point you got to let her go. Like when you're a guy getting dumped by the girl, she's not interested in you anymore. The girl, your wife, uh, you just at some point you're like, all right, I get it. I'm not your cup of tea anymore. But I like the use there of like when he referred to it as a race, but right before that he referred to there's no present, no past, no future. I think he said it in that order, but that's all about time as well. The past is about time, the future is about time, the present, and then he brought in the idea of a race and those who've lost in love's race, I think he said. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that Shakespearean line that I quoted the other day in a reaction was Shakespeare is, and I said, is it better to have loved? I mean, Shakespeare said it's better to have loved and have lost than to have never loved at all. And that's probably true, but I don't know. How do you know? Once you've loved, you can't go back and say that wasn't it. But I don't know the pain that's there. But when he said there's no present, no past, no future, well, the past isn't what it seemed, but the past is definitely there. Like those of you who follow the channel know that I'm a personal coach or a life coach in my primary occupation. And so that's kind of how I come at life. You don't want to throw away the good things about the past, like the reason you fell in love, what you loved about that person, the good things that happened. Like you don't want to dishonor those things that were beautiful to you, whether they were beautiful to the other person. It's not irrelevant in the broader scheme, but in this scheme to compartmentalize and to honor the trueness of your life. The heartbreak came later when she exited the relationship. And then in this case, he made the phone call to let her know you're free. I'm not, and it's basically to honor her desire to not be with him any longer. And then that's when everything falls apart. But frequently when a relationship breaks up, one thing the counselors will do, like in marriage counseling, before the breakup occurs or when there are marital or relationship problems, they might ask you, what did you like about him? Like they'll ask the girl, what did you like about him when you were first dating? Or him, what did you like about her when you were first dating? And one of the first signs that the relationship may be dead in the water is when neither one of them can remember what they loved or liked about the person when they first dated. It kind of means that their heart and their mind are kind of seared. But there's always good things that were there. But if you've so found distaste for this other person that you can't even remember things that you liked about her for him, then it's like, man, that pretty much says it. Like the heart and the mind and everything else may be gone. And but in my, like, I could speak from my perspective, of course, that I do not dishonor the things that I liked about or loved about another person, whether it's my ex-wife or whether it's an ex-girlfriend or whether friends who don't want to talk with me anymore or whatever. Just life gets busy, people move away. I still remember the good things and I keep them as such. If they turn crappy later, fair enough. But what's true, like as my yoga teacher said in the teacher training at one point, and because I teach yoga too, and just as a sideline, but Ranjita, my teacher, who was one of the most beautiful people I've met, just internally, the things she shared with us, but she said, if you're going to be in balance in life, you've got to be you've got to believe the good things about yourself if you're going to believe the bad things about yourself. And people sometimes are maybe more self-critical than they ought to be. And the counterbalance to that is to think about the good things about yourself. Arrogance only thinks about the good things. Narcissism only thinks about the really good things, whether they're real or not, and they don't consider the negative things. But to be in balance, you got to have both. And in this situation, there was a past, but then you have to say to yourself, am I so delusional? Like, I just got left. And I thought we had a great past, and it turns out it's not. Like, where's my delusion that it wasn't as good as I thought it was? And then you could spin out. But the future's definitely gone. And that's why divorce is so painful, because And in fact, it's rated up there. Anytime they do the psychosocial studies, divorce ranks right behind the death of a child in terms of pain, anguish, and all sorts of things like that, because it's the death of hope, the death of dreams. In this case, he said it's almost the death of the past. It's just everything you've worked for and maybe even have accomplished together is gone. And then you start indicting yourself, like, how could I have been so blind? Like all these different thoughts that come to mind in normal people anyway. But geez, Farm Daddy, my goodness, gosh, what a request. Obviously, I got spun out on this one because I'm all amped up on a very slow moving song. How cool is that? The music can do that to us, but I'll rate it. You didn't ask me to, you didn't say don't, and I normally don't rate requests, but there are so many, donation requests now that I guess you guys are mostly okay if I rate them, but that was just a hell of a song. That Sliver of Life, the number that popped into my head is a 9.8. It was so close to a 10. 9.8 is just an absurd rating. It's so good. Songs at that level. I may have to start a new category of songs like 9.5 to 9.9 because I've got my category of 10 and above, but holy cow. So, Farm Daddy, thank you again, my friend. My goodness. You got me on that one. I hope that's not your life story, but if it is, I hope you've made peace with it on some level. I have. And a big part of it is just remembering the good things, the things that I love. If I'm not someone else's cup of tea any longer, I can't change that. It's just, that's what happens. But I know for me, I'm going to hold on to what I believed and what I felt and thought. And that has sustained me in some ways, because that kind of pain doesn't go away forever. It just doesn't. It's too big a part of your life when you're married and then divorced, that that person's always there in some capacity by memory, typically. So, okay, folks, there you go. You could thank Farm Daddy for that. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you on another video. Keep rocking the country.